Hey guys, it's JP here with Krawler. We want to talk about the differences of what the Pro X Krawler Joint Series is from the old Pro Series. Going back to 2012 when we introduced the first rebuildable serviceable joint capable of 60 degrees of misalignment, we've made a lot of changes and updates with the Pro X Series that came out in late 2024, early 2025. The devil is in the details. Yes, they look almost identical, but believe it or not, the only parts that carry over from the old Pro Series to the Pro X is the ball, set screws, and zerk fitting. The housings themselves are now, instead of being a free machine steel housing, they're actually forged for greater strength than machined. The old Pro housing used two-piece bushings that encapsulated the ball with a small groove in the middle, or basically a gap, so grease could flow through and then flow out, with a grease groove inside the housing. What this did was it allowed the opportunity for what is called creep of the bushing material over time, where they could become loose. The new housings that are forged do not have a grease groove. The groove is actually in the one-piece bushing that encapsulates the ball, minimizing any opportunity for creep. Basically, almost making it a fully solid joint with vibration isolation. In specific, high frequency vibration isolation, that is what typically fractures chassis welds. The retainers on the old Pro Series Krawler joint had wrench flats in them. The new ones have radiuses in them, so the set screws can engage the radius. It's much easier to pick up that the set screw is properly engaged visually. Obviously, this tells us if it's a Pro X versus Pro. And with this style retainer, there's no Loctite needed on these retainers anymore. The only Loctite is blue Loctite on the set screws, ensuring they stay engaged so this retainer cannot back out. So if you're adjusting your preload, a little bit of heat on the set screws, back it out, crank your preload in, tighten up the joint as you see it wear. Stronger, better, more durable. Same high misalignment capabilities as the old Pro Series Krawler joint. In lab testing, the Pro X is outlasting our competitor, who at best has 40 degrees of misalignment, up to 31% depending on the conditions. We're sure you will find that the Pro X Series Krawler joint is the best crawler joint that we've ever made and put into our suspension systems and components. Let's take a look at also the quality measures that we ensure each and every assembly is exactly the way we want it to be, so you are getting the most structural, best crawler joint we've ever made. Outside of the differences that we pointed out between the old Pro Krawler joint and the Pro X, we go through numerous quality control checks throughout the assembly process. You know, obviously we have our basic inspection, dimensional inspections on housings, joints, threading, durometers, and again, basic dimensional inspections. But each and every Pro X Krawler joint goes through these steps. Joe's going to be checking the minor diameter of the threads to ensure each and every housing is good. He's going to be checking the major diameters of the retaining rings. What this is doing is validating that we have the proper Class 2B fitment of each and every component before it goes together. And again, these tools are provided to us by Vermont Gauge, some of the highest quality precision gauges you can get pretty much anywhere in the world. The new Pro X again has a one-piece raceway. Now what you see Joe doing is actually pre-lubricating the raceway before you actually get your joints. So there's no need to go around and grease your joints in your vehicle. They are all pre-lubricated. One thing you will note is that we are using a red grease. Why are we using a red grease upon assembly? Because at assembly is the only time you can get a red or heavy grease in the joint housing itself. After this, that red and tacky grease will start to break down, where you will be able to push it out with the Mobilux EP1 grease that we suggest for all of our joints. Joe's just preloading the raceways to make sure they're centered before he starts the retainers. I'll step out of Joe's way. We use programmable Ingersoll Rand guns for torque checks on each and every joint housing to ensure we're getting the best fitment that we possibly can get. Now Joe is just indexing the retainer to the next set screw drop-in. Again, as we pointed out, the differences between the old Pro and the Pro X series. We torque both sides and again index both retainers to drop the set screws into place. Again, notice there was no Loctite being applied to the retainers. The Pro X Krawler joints do not require it. The only Loctite is applied to the set screws where they drop into the housings. Each and every Pro X joint goes through the same assembly procedure, same quality control checks before we consider it a good joint. Some will go on for cycle testing at random, but this is the basics of how a Pro X Krawler joint is assembled, and the quality control checks are ensured before one goes into a control arm and leaves the building.